Welcome to TYT Sports, Francis and Jason. So we received your feedback, I would say 99.98% positive concerning the rundown. So let's get to the rundown again. I'll give you guys another brief breakdown of how it works in quoting DJ Casper. We're going to bring it back now, y'all. Here is Aldo at the bottom. First talking point, you don't want to listen to Aldo. 30 minutes later, you can click on Kevin Durant. Or later, you can click on the banned Super Bowl ad. We're giving you guys the power to click on whichever clip you would like to see us talk about. You know how it works at this point. Make sure to continue to give us the feedback so we can continue to adjust and adhere to your needs. But let's get to the action. Welcome to TYT Sports. Francis Maxwell and Jason Rubin joining you here. Let's get to our first topic. Jose Aldo, nearly a month and a half after he was flattened catastrophically by Conor McGregor's left, I believe, hook. As you know, precision beats power. That is what Conor McGregor states. But Jose Aldo has came back. He's been quiet since that knockout and has stated in a Facebook post he wants a rematch. He is not done with this. So we have Jose Aldo's words. Let's get to them before we discuss. So he posted this on Twitter. I was quiet until now, but I've decided to talk. This is my message. So this is Jose Aldo Jr.'s words here. Hi, everyone. I was quiet for a while because I was waiting for my rematch. In fact, I was already training for it based on how the fight went down. But apparently I was wrong. So I wanted to make something clear to the UFC for everything that I've done, everything I've accepted, and mostly how the fight ended. I will not accept any other fight other than a title shot. My only exception would be fighting Conor McGregor at any time, anywhere, and since he is scared and knows that I'm going to win, it doesn't even have to be a title fight against him. You can keep my belt. What I want is to whoop your ass again, anytime, anywhere. And then he tags Dana White. Keep your word. I still believe in the company that I work for. Hashtag rematch.
Right, so to be more specific, and what he's saying is he will not fight unless he gets a title shot, or I guess if it's not a title shot, it would be against Conor McGregor's the only other fight he would take, right? So the UFC has done immediate rematches in the past. If it wasn't for Ronda Rousey, I think Holly Holm might be fighting. If it wasn't for Ronda Rousey's medical absence, and this is not medical, not suspension in that way, but medical suspension, she would have an immediate rematch.
She was basically she would have been offered that.
Most notably, but in a different light, I would say, was BJ Penn and Frankie Edgar, which was about 5-6 years ago. And BJ Penn came in as the heavy favorite. Frankie Edgar, a 7-1 underdog. He won the fight, but it was by decision. And he got an immediate title fight because they said this has got to be a fluke. And a couple, I'd say 3-4 months later, they immediately went to decision again, and he won. And it was more than telling. So it's a different case with BJ Penn and Frankie Edgar because it wasn't like BJ Penn got knocked out in 5.5, 6.5, or 11.5 seconds, right? In this case, we have a few other elements at play. One, we kind of got to wait to see what happens with McGregor versus Dos Anjos, which comes up on first week of March for UFC 196 in Las Vegas. And then after the results of that, we can start thinking, okay, what do we do with Jose Aldo? Does he get an immediate title fight? I feel he absolutely deserves an immediate title fight, or another shot at a title fight. Doesn't matter against who to me. It's just a guy who reigns supreme in that division for the longest reign in UFC history. That's a title fight deserving guy. What he's going to do? Work his way back up? Why? I get it. He got knocked down in 11 seconds. He was not prepared for what came his way with Conor McGregor. That doesn't mean he shouldn't get another title fight. It also doesn't mean, well, I mean, what it does mean, more specifically for the UFC, is it's more money. Who are you going to put out there that's going to be better for that division than Jose Aldo against anybody for a title shot?
Better for that, and that's the key point. Who are you going to put out there that's better for that division? Conor McGregor moving up a fight is better for the sport.
Oh, for the sport, the big picture, yes.
And that's why I thought it was a little strange with Jose Aldo's words. He wants a title shot, which seemed first and foremost, which I imagine is not the most ridiculous claim. But then he said the only exception would be to fight Conor McGregor, and then
which is a title shot.
Yeah, and he's very confident in his words, but then he states that he doesn't really want his belt. At this point, Conor McGregor rules that sport. Like whatever he wants to do, he is going to do. And Dana White is a smart man, smart businessman. To see Conor McGregor become a 2-belt champion is a dream for that sport. For him to move up and
changes the landscape of how the sport can be fought.
And exactly, and it changes the landscape of how we view the sport, how it's viewed across seas. Because at this point, right, people have very short memories. They see Conor McGregor beating Jose Aldo, they don't want to see it again. Some people would, but they would. The thought and the excitement of seeing Conor McGregor go up to another weight class and push himself against adversity, push himself against somewhere where he can be considered again an underdog. If he fights Jose Aldo again, he's not considered an underdog, and I don't think it's as appealing to a worldwide audience. Whereas some people may disagree, this is just my thoughts. But with Conor McGregor moving to fight Dos Anjos, it poses him outside of his comfort zone again. And that's where Conor McGregor is at his best. That's where the sport is at his best. And let's not take anything away. Against Aldo, right? Short, sharp fight. Conor McGregor has discarded of people in this weight class. I think he looks mismatched in that weight class. I think for his
better
own fighting
better for McGregor to be fighting
McGregor.
against guys like RDA. Okay.
I think that it's not just Jose Aldo that's just this one-hit wonder. McGregor's been winning his fights, but not by as much.
No, he beat down Chad Mendes. He beat down everybody.
Dominant. He's been consistently beating people.
What I was actually like looking up beforehand, and it's interesting. It's just in terms of the landscape of the UFC compared to like one of my favorite sports in boxing was like it's something about the lightweight classes, not just lightweight specifically, but these 150, 155, 145-pound guys that have taken over the sport. Conor McGregor, Rafael Dos Anjos, Jose Aldo for a long time, Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson. Complete opposite.
Yep.
Complete opposite of the old school way that how boxing rose to power was because of guys like Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, these heavyweight boxers with power. And you just said it in the beginning of the clip. Precision beats power. Yep. I think that's what we've kind of found with the advanced skill set I would say you need to be a UFC fighter in today's day and age, or MMA fighter in today's day and age. And we see it brought to a big stage, and we have no problem watching 255-pound guys that we look like scrappers on the street.
Yes.
Exactly. Go at it with each other. And of course, if you run into one of those scrappers on the street, you'll lose. Yeah. I'll lose.
I probably would.
You'll lose.
I'll lose. So, in retrospect, I think that Jose Aldo, you mentioned it, in terms of what he's given to the sport, absolutely. He deserves an adequate shot to basically right his
wrongs. I want my
wrongs.
money back, Jose Aldo.
Basically, he wants to be able to go a full round or so and prove to them that it was more like a fluke than anything else. McGregor's history proves otherwise, not against Aldo because he's only fought him once, but proves otherwise that he does this with these opponents. This is not just a one-off. And the thing about the last point I want to make is that one of the UFC writers, I can't remember his name at the moment, ran a very smart article that said Dana White is a businessman. Jose Aldo has history of pulling out of fights, which is a big loss. He has a history of not following through, and that was when he was at the top, and he had that. You mentioned it. He had that leeway. But at the moment, obviously, if he was given that chance to fight McGregor, again, he would be doing everything possible, I'm sure, to make sure he was fit and ready for that fight. But Dana White pumped a lot of money into that first fight. It had to be discarded. Of course, it was still a good gate with McGregor fighting Mendes, but McGregor fighting Dos Anjos is another mouth-watering gate for Dana White, and I don't think he's going to let anything come in between that.